The term social justice warrior used to mean something positive. Now it's a pejorative. Who are these warriors and what are they fixing in the world? Or are they really just looking for reasons to bitch?
Yeah. Or feel good.
Tonight we're going to talk about what's wrong with social justice warriors.
Check one, yo. Check two, check. Check three, yo. Check 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Welcome back to the Something's Wrong Here podcast. I am Randy, and Ken-Zee's out of the house tonight, so...
Oh, snap. It's Brian. He's back. I'm back. I couldn't help myself.
Back! So, Ken-Zee doesn't know we're recording tonight.
Cheating on him.
We've got a special episode that we're going to record after this one.
You filthy cheater.
I know. I'm such a whore.
Traitor. Easy.
We are going to talk about whores in the next episode.
Yes. My favorite.
But
one of my favorites.
Tonight, we're going to talk about social justice warriors. There's been a lot of that in the news. Last week was the No Kings. On the bright side, we still don't have any kings, so I think it worked. I think the protest worked.
Protest worked. Yeah. Well done. Well done by the progressive left.
Yes, the progressive left kept the kings away.
Thank God.
You know what's weird is that you have people out there holding signs, no fascism, no kings, in a free country where they're free to hold signs, which I firmly support the First Amendment, right?
Yeah.
That's what gives us the right to sit here and talk about it and discuss it, and it gives them the right to go out and hold signs. But how do you advocate for something that just isn't real?
I mean, it doesn't, I always say it's mental gymnastics, but my starting point for that question is pretty simple, being that the calls for no kings has been, predominantly coming from the left, progressives, Democrats. Did nobody on the right saying that, and that's the party that really hasn't had a primary in the last couple elections.
It's true,
which I find to be quite puzzling, considering the democratic process involves, delegates from your party voting in who they want to be. I mean, the people vote, and that's how you get your candidate.
Absolutely.
And this whole hand-selected with Hillary in 2016 and Kamala to follow in 2024 after Biden won, I do find it a little bit ironic that's the calling card. It's like, we don't want this unilateral ruler that is picked without the people, and it's like, and the worst part, and I'm gonna barrel on the left a little bit because I've seen this in my own social media bubble in the last few weeks, is that I've literally heard or read people saying, well, the candidates were picked at the convention. It's like, well, if the head of the DNC picked them at the convention without any input from the delegates, that's not the way that's supposed to work. I mean, it really isn't the way it's supposed to work.
Well, I mean, look at it this way.
And the right didn't want Trump literally tons of Republicans came out before 2024 and said, we don't want him as our candidate. But they very quickly found out that any other candidate, probably but Trump, would have probably got trounced by Kamala and Tampon Tim.
Oh, Tampon Tim.
Sorry, not just it's a funny nickname.
And that's the thing, too, is that you have people like Musk. People are all up in arms. Well, we didn't vote for him. 90% of government positions are appointed or hired or, you didn't pick your IRS agent that audited you. You didn't get to vote them in.
What's the problem? Come on. I mean, it's the same with RFK. Okay, like I think RFK says some goofy shit.
Oh yeah,
I think he says some shit that's worth looking into. Food dyes. I mean, like we could nitpick everything, but again, I'm going to point out this hypocrisy, which I started pointing out in Grant's episodes when we did with Grant, and that is they never have that criticality towards their own side. It's only towards the opposite. I mean, I could say the right does it to the left too, but I mean,
to an extent.
So let's just right at the 30,000 foot level. RFK is a lawyer, basically a environmental lawyer, right? Kind of an activist for environmental causes. So, politician, lawyer, whatever. Comes from a politician family.
That's what they all are.
Okay. Xavier Becerra was the department or the Secretary of Health and Human Services, the same thing that RFK is.
Correct.
Was Xavier Becerra, was he a doctor?
Absolutely not.
He was a fucking politician and a lawyer. So, and I believe it may have been an immigration rights lawyer. I'm not sure. I know he wasn't anything to do with anything medical. So let's just put the canard to bed that our department of the HHS has to be a trusted medical mind.
Correct.
Because and you brought up Levine, Rachel Levine, which is even more comical. It's like, okay, so give me the qualifications for Xavier Becerra and Levine, and let's put them up next to RFK.
I do believe Levine is a doctor.
I mean, that would at least be some sort of plus.
I mean,
but Xavier Becerra wasn't, and it's like this hypercritical eye towards everything, or towards everything that's the opposite ideology. It just to me it makes it really hard to listen to the people. Like, how can I trust you? Because that is the the criticality towards everything but yourself is I don't see how it makes people trust you, believe you more, right?
No, and that's the problem. Is there's always especially in politics, there's always a double down. Yeah. There's never well, you know what? I was wrong about this. I'm sorry. I'm going to admit I'm wrong. I learned from it, and I'm going to move on.
There's I don't think that is that's a cute idea when you talk about it, but you and I both know that that's not. No. That's I should say it like I think it's intellectually honest, but it's not politically expedient. No. So and therein lies your problem. Is like there's this weird part in bipartisan politics or partisan politics, which is, you kind of talk out of both sides of your mouth all the time. You're telling people what they want to hear with the full intent and full knowledge that you're probably not going to do that when the rubber hits the road. And
I saw the perfect analogy to it all today. Somebody compared the left and the right to two wrestlers coming out to the ring with a microphone. All it is theatrics and optics and making the other one look bad, talking trash on the other one, and neither of them really do anything by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah, yeah. I wondered about that, and it was when it's the chatter that started happening around the 2024 election, and when we knew we were going to start seeing debates. And we've kind of talked about this before on here, but there's a sense of decorum. There's a sense of it's not politeness, but it's adjusted to the situation. There's a standard of behavior by which you should do it. And we're not even talking about the debate. It's just a respect for your person who's talking to you. And I just, when I realized that all Trump had to do, and I really mean it, was get one good laugh from the crowd, and it's done. Yeah. The political material, the ideas being pumped in, the ideas that they're trying to sell for their candidacy mean jack shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you got one good singer off. He won. Good job, Trump and Kamala to fit right into this, to give each side its fair shake. The first debate, I believe it was the first debate. Kamala got Trump riled. Yeah. And it wasn't a policy gotcha. All she did was get him under his skin and get him a little bit pissed off. And it's and the media goes with it. And I kind of agreed with them, because her getting under his skin was really bad for him. It made him look really bad. Yeah. And it's but it wasn't policy. It was just haha, you look dumb, or I made a funny joke about you. And then the fucking audience, us and, the public included, are she obviously won. I didn't hear her talk once about any policy. And to be fair, Trump didn't talk about it either.
I don't know if I've really heard much policy in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And, I know we're talking about left and right, but the left, I don't even know if they have a candidate lined up, ready to go, even thought about for next Next election.
Gavin Newsom, man. I'm telling you, he's feeling out the crowd by doing the podcast. He's feeling out the crowd by getting guys like Charlie Kirk on.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great episode.
Yeah.
And Bill Maher with Charlie Kirk, fucking great episode. But I'm holding out hope that is a precursor, maybe to what's coming in the post-Trump, bipartisan politics area, which is we're actually going to talk, and it's not going to be name calling or gotcha. I mean, there can be gotchas. Don't get me wrong. We should be talking gotchas on policy.
Oh yeah.
But it can't just be like, you're orange, you're bad. Well, you're whatever. This is just any number of pejoratives.
And I'm just going to throw this out here. I don't know the exact number because I can't remember it, but it was pretty astronomical. But I saw a stat the other day. I think it's like 75 or 80% of people under 30 get their news from podcasts now.
Yeah. Well, and all like social media too.
Yeah, social media, but mostly podcasts is where they consider they get their news.
Jesus.
So, I mean, if you think about it, you're going to have to do that because the younger people that are coming up and voting, as crazy as it sounds, are not turning on Fox News or CNN or ABC. They're not watching the news.
Television news is dying as a medium, I think. Well, the trust specifically in it's dying bad.
I saw today that 18% polled trust the media.
I wonder if, and to me, that almost seems like an age demographic split as much as anything. Because I know my parents are in their 80s. I don't know if I'd call what they get from social media news, but I do know that they still watch. They still watch. My dad watches Fox News. Mom watches all the national news.
Well, do you know how you can tell if somebody's a social justice warrior? Don't worry, they'll tell you.
They'll tell you something you're doing wrong, that they're doing right.
They'll tell you. But I did think it was funny the other day. You made a comment that somebody was on their soapbox online, and they said you told me that they couldn't even win an argument with themselves.
Oh yeah.
And they literally 5 minutes later posted underneath their post and lost an argument to themselves.
The self-own. I love the self-own. Not the cell phone, the self-own.
The self-owned. It was completely contradictory to the last statement, and it's just, I don't even think that it's activism or I don't know what you want to call it. I think it's just this, look at me. Look at me. I'm going to post something that makes me a good person. Yeah,
I talked about this with my wife last night, and I was, it's one of those things where I have to verbalize it and kind of talk through it. Because if it stays in my head, it just is a jumble, and there's really never any clarity. Because and maybe it's that I feel like I want to bounce the basic ideas off of. I mean, really, my daughter and my wife, they're none of them care that much about politics, but at least they can tell me, well, maybe you're just missing this. Maybe you've ignored this part, and they thought that the reasoning was pretty solid, and what I came down to, to be honest, what I don't understand about it, and this whoever we were talking about has also made references before that they curate their audience, friends, whatever it is, people that are in that bubble that are going to see this material out there, and if your curation process means the only people you're broadcasting this to are the ones who are going to gargle it up like hook, line, and sinker. I don't get why you say it, because it's really just a confirmation bias. Look at me. Everybody here thinks probably the same way I do. Can I get a bunch of attaboys to feel like maybe I'm justifying my own beliefs?
Well, I mean, that's all it is. It seems like it's no longer the activism side. It's strictly performative. It's just to get those likes, to get the pat on the back like you were talking about, just to almost, like you said, stand on a soapbox. Look at me.
Yeah.
Look at what I can do. I can type, and I just saved the world with my 3 sentences I posted to Facebook.
Yeah. And it does, and like I said, you're not, to be completely fair to this person, I think that this person is genuinely a decent communicator. He's not a bad writer. Politics, whenever you cross things like political ideology, religious ideology, I mean, you see how people kind of stack their beliefs in both of these places. there's some people that just have such a large amount of like implicit contradictions in their belief systems, like the way they collide, that I don't. Again, that's why I made the comment. Like, they couldn't fucking win an argument with themselves, because they stand on business on this one thing, but then on the other side, the real hardcore belief seems to be implicitly contradictive to what they were stumping for 30 seconds ago.
Well, and not only that, but I see it so often when people post online. It's basically a circular conversation with themselves where they never get to a point. It's a bunch of ramblings that never really solidifies what their final thought is.
Logical fallacies, man. That's what I thought when I was watching this dialogue take place. The other thing that I was going to say about that's quite interesting, and I was made aware of this phenomenon when, God, was it Rogan? Somebody was bagging Rogan, and
Which happens quite often.
Their thrust, the angle was, he can say dangerous things. He platforms people that propagate misinformation, and sometimes he does it himself too, because he believes it or it sounds legitimate. But he's usually pretty good about saying, "Look, I don't know. I'm curious. I just want the answers."
I believe we've done it on here on accident a time or two. I mean, it's not intentional, but I'm sure we've got something wrong.
But the idea was that, if he gets into a corner where he's talking shit about what he shouldn't be talking about, he can always just do I'm a fucking dumb shit comedian. Nobody listens to me about this serious shit anyway. Well, like that, I've noticed this specific person spreading ideas. They do the same thing. There's a ripcord, and the ripcord's always going to be, well, I'm compassionate and I care about people, and it's obvious. It seems obvious that you don't. And to me, it's just it's the final logical fallacy hammer that they're going to drop. And at that point, what that means to me, I mean, as somebody who understands debate, understands logical fallacies, that means, like, I'm not even going to entertain your thoughts anymore. But the problem is, normally when you get to that's the own moment. The own moment is supposed to be preceded, by hard evidence that the person on the other side can't refute.
The mic drop moment.
Exactly. And instead,
it doesn't happen. It's just, well, you got a good point, so
instead,
fuck you. You don't care.
Yeah, it's red herrings. It's straw men. It's ad hominems. It's appeals to authority. It's appeals to emotion. And it's like no true Scotsman. You look these up. If you guys don't know anything about logical fallacies, if you argue with people that never bring facts but they think they win everything, it's because they're using logical fallacies. And to be fair, I mean, to a lot of people don't know what they are.
No.
It just seems like, kind of, to me, it's like the na side of an argument. And I thought about that for a long time last night. Like, should I respond? Because I know it's not going to go anywhere in public. But the thing is, like, I feel like if I pulled this person aside in public, because I'm good friends with the guy, I think he would be just as dismissive. Oh, yeah. And the problem is, I don't understand that. If I have this really strong opinion about something, normally that means I have thought through it. I've researched every bit of possible data I can, and the final verdict is going to be a mishmash, a combination of some of my emotions going to be there, because I obviously don't feel emotional, or I don't feel like 100% logical all the time. There's always going to be emotion that plays into it a little bit.
Oh yeah, we're human.
But but holy smokes, it just seems like it would be a lost cause. And I think the worst part is, I think the problem is that he or she, this person does not want to be pushed back against at all.
No. And that brings me to a fact I actually saw today. 1 in 4 people admit to unfriending or blocking out of their lives somebody that voted different than them or had a different political ideology. And it's just insane to me, because all you end up with is what you were talking about. You round up that echo chamber, and you get the same people. Instead of having intellectual dialogue, you end up with the people just patting you on your back.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the social justice warrior posts online and everything, likes are a whole lot easier to come by than actually changing laws and making a difference.
Oh yeah, and certainly being a positive. It's what kills me. It makes me giggle. I don't. Because I won't lie to you. I didn't wade even into thinking about politics until I was probably in my mid-30s.
Same with me.
I mean,
Same.
I kind of understood. I understand the ramifications, and I knew what the side stood for.
I didn't care.
I thought that if you had an issue that you felt really strongly about, then you vote on that line. If that's the most important thing, if it's a combination of 5 things, you basically take your pros and cons and you weigh it out and you pick which one. But it's all become this fucking big dog. It's a dog and pony show, man.
Oh, it is.
And what's even, we were talking about, this is a social justice warrior thing. It's the proliferation. Again, it's like the proliferation of your ideas in a curated bubble seems useless to me.
Well, it is. It's like you said, you didn't get into politics till you were older. Well, I mean, I would say, sadly, majority of people go into that voting booth and they line up one side and make marks all the way down it. They don't look at the laws. They don't care what the law is. They don't care how it affects them.
Yeah.
They don't care if it's a 300% tax increase that they can't afford.
Yep.
If it is on that left side or on that right side, that's all they will.
Bam.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one other thing, and I thought about this, and I keep forgetting it when it's my turn to talk. Like an old hippie. So social justice warriors, right? And this is contextually, this is what we've been talking about. This specific personality builds a lot about compassion for people, human rights, and really, man, I feel the same way. If I feel genuine sympathy and empathy, mostly sympathy, because I can't imagine what it'd be like to live in a third world country,
absolutely
under some despot, and you could die any day. I don't know that, but I just knew there was a real hypocrisy going on. Because you tell me what you think about this. Tell me what you think about this. Okay, Obama. You can have your own opinions about how presidential he was.
I think he was a decent president, to be honest with you.
Fine. He's an activist.
Yeah.
So if there's one thing he was good at, it's like drumming up support for causes. That's great. No,
great speaker.
I don't have any problem with that. It's fine. But this is not an exaggerated fact that there were more citizens killed by drones in the Middle East during his presidency than during any other presidency.
Oh, yeah.
This is true fact.
They were dropping, I can't remember the number, but it was multiple bombs a day
during
his whole presidency.
This is not something you'd argue either, right? This is
fact.
Legit.
And you can look it up, and there's no arguing it.
Did you ever see any social justice warrior on the left, crying for the poor, Middle East public that were getting killed by drone attacks that were ordered by, Obama's administration? And
not that I can recall.
To me, this is not a gotcha. It's not a gotcha at all, because I was complaining from 08 to 16 that, for a guy who's this peaceful organizer, there are a shitload of citizens in the Middle East getting killed by drone attacks. Mm-hmm. And they're not necessarily on purpose. I mean, they're just hitting military targets that kill citizens.
Yeah. You have the casualties.
That's just the one where it's like,
that's the sad part
when
about
anybody says, I just care about people, and it's obvious that you don't care about people. That doesn't wash. Like, it doesn't wash at all. You care about people if
they support your
the
cause.
Conservatives. If the conservatives are dropping bombs on innocent people, you are all about those innocent people. Mm-hmm. If your party's dropping bombs you're like
silent and
la la, la la la. I don't think that really happened. And again, it's this thing with. I'm misanthropic. Okay, I dislike everyone equally. It's always my joke at work. Is like, until I respect you, until I know you, I'm going to be curt, and I'm probably going to be standoffish, but I'm going to be professional.
Well, yeah.
And once you show you're trustworthy and that you're part of the team, hey man, I'm your best buddy if you need help all the time. But man, if you're playing one side of the fence, I'm not a big fan.
And that seems to be it, that, we're going to get out there and hold up signs, and we are going to, for perfect example, last weekend, holding up signs, no kings, no fascists, no monarchies, this, that, and the other. They literally pulled the presidential candidate that was voted for.
Yeah.
And threw in somebody else.
Yeah.
That was polled at like 17% that nobody asked for.
Yeah. And I get why they did it.
I understand
really
why they did it too.
It's a campaign money thing.
But that should have been done a long time ago.
Yeah.
And people should have had the right to choose who they wanted.
Okay, and here's another one. Let me bring up. This is kind of along the same vein as the drones, right? Mm-hmm. All during the roll up to this last election, he's sharp as a tack. Mm-hmm. Biden's sharp as a tack. And again, I'm hesitant to say anything about this because all of a sudden it makes me sound like I'm a conservative, which I'm not. I hate politics. I'm apolitical. I'm a philosopher. I think like a philosopher. I look at all sides. I measure logic and emotion.
It annoys the hell out of me because it's so confusing to understand which side you're on sometimes.
But it's
because you're not on any side.
It's difficult, dude. Because I don't think either. I mean, it's we're in this.
And you have compassion for people,
absolutely.
But you still have common sense.
We're in this binary situation though, where and the left has kind of fucked it up for me. Okay, mm-hmm. Because I would have told you 10 years ago that I'm a moderate Democrat. Mm-hmm. I would say I'm a very moderate Democrat. I don't like the way we tax and spend. I hated that because we're just swimming in national debt right now. I mean, what's this? A quarter of our accounts payable are going to be serviced on debt within the next few years. I mean, that's absolutely absurd. It's more than the fucking Pentagon. I mean, that's your defense budget's the biggest thing we got.
And that's like just the interest. Well, that's not even counting paying off our
debt. Entitlements, I guess, are big too. But those are necessary. Okay, it's not like fucking defense budget where we could probably cut 20% and.
Well, I saw today that I think Japan has Russia has 4,000 some airplanes. We have 14,000 and some.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like our Air Force is like just it could cripple every country out there.
I don't remember the figure, right? But I do remember a while back. It was like our defense spending is as much as the next 5 countries combined.
It is, yes.
Something
I saw
like
that.
It may be more or less. But
I think it's the next 4 or 5.
That's absurdity, right? So back to what I was saying, the fit as a fiddle, sharp as a tack thing. It's this, again, what did they say when Obama was dropped? Obama's administration was ordering drone attacks. And it's like the minute that it doesn't serve them politically, they ignore that it ever happened. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing more ironic, and it's not coincidental that now the big book by Jake Tapper, who was one of the talking heads that was saying, he's sharp as a tack, and now he's pushed a book that obviously we all knew. Okay, that's a problem. If you're saying that, he's a trusted media face for CNN.
Another one's supposed to be coming out soon too.
Oh, are you talking? Is that KGP's? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Corinne Jean-Pierre. I might
she
actually
even dropped her political party.
Oh yeah, she dropped
after it's all said and done.
I want to read that. I think I
might read it too, just to find out what's going on, because there's got to be some crazy stuff in there.
The auto pens, there's dude, I could go on for days. The pardon of Hunter, the pardon of Biden's entire family
for like 14 years or something. Yeah, like that.
And it's funny. It's like that time span makes almost all the things that people bitched about corruption wise. It all falls into that time frame. Mm-hmm. So all the Burisma corruption, all of that, he's been completely let off. And again, my problem is it's not that. I know there's cronyism and there's kickback bullshit in politics everywhere. Ambassadorships have always been pay to play. But, call it when you see it. Mm-hmm. Don't just call it when it's your team.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my. I'm like, it's really, I think the most difficult part, and I don't think it's as bad with conservatives. It's maybe because I don't think many of them are really intelligent. I'm just saying on average, right? Because I like the part that almost hurts my brain to comprehend is how many of my friends that are intelligent, critically thinking folks, but the minute it becomes about politics, like all that objectivity and thinking just goes like a fucking balloon.
The brain
it just
shoots
blew,
out their
dude.
ass.
Yeah, and it's gone like a fart in the wind. and I had a similar situation. I used to work with a guy who's a big time conservative. And it was every day. It was like walking this really funky tightrope because professionally he was sharp as a tack. I mean,
Not Biden sharp as
like,
a tack.
I'm
but
talking tied up, buttoned down. Every I was dotted, every T was crossed. And he's a computer programmer, and I know the paradigm. I know the vertical, so I could look at his stuff and say, man, dude, you know how to do this really, and it's all based on logic, like mathematical principles. That's what it's based on. So it's all based on objectively true things. And he was also a Christian, and he was also a flat earther. And what's wild is it's like if you talk to him about work, man, he'd give you logic, reasoning, write down it. And it's like the minute he got out of his desk and walked out the door, again, boo! It's like all the brain power just disappears out of his ear holes. And just like, don't ever ask him about money. Don't ever ask him about God. Don't ever ask him about the earth. Don't ever ask him anything about anything that personal people have.
Well, you make a perfect point because I've seen, I've seen stories where there's been people with inappropriate images on their computer. Well, come to find out it happened to be a Republican. And I've seen these SJW twice. Look at that. I told you they're all horrible people and stuff. It's like, well, yesterday they caught 3 Democrats with the same thing. Yeah. And like, they're both really bad. Yeah. Like, fuck both those people.
We should probably condemning anyone that does that.
Yeah, but we're not going to bring up the ones on the left because that makes my causes look bad.
Well,
we're calling out bullshit doesn't make either side look bad. That means I'm a real person and I think this is bad. Yeah. I don't care who did it.
Yeah. It's funny how standards shift with political alignment, which I think is just...
Well, I mean, and speaking of that, you've got, the social justice warriors, they are always preaching about tolerance.
Yeah.
Always preaching about tolerance.
Definitely.
They are the first ones to resort to violence when they disagree with you.
Well, that's a strange phenomenon, man. And it really is I don't know. I've always wondered. I kind of think to myself whether it's this. Is it just built up tension of feeling like they've never, like their words can't get them anywhere?
Well, it's not even that. I think, we've got a problem with the institutes as well because 60% of college students claim that offensive speech is true violence.
Hate speech, man.
But
that the silence is violence too. You want to see a contradiction? Like hate speech is violence. You're harming me with your words, but if I don't advocate for your whatever it is, it could be well-meaning, it could be a complete charade, it could be bullshit. But if I say something about it that you don't like, it's violence. If I don't say something to defend you, it's violence. Like, do you see what I'm getting at?
Oh yeah,
it's a game of fucking charades.
So let me ask you this then,
and I have to participate, and I have to agree that you're what you say you are.
So is it about compassion, or is it about controlling the narrative?
There is a narrative controlling angle there. Okay. But I'm going to make this is probably the most controversial thing I'll ever say on this. I'm a compassionate person.
Absolutely.
And I'm a sympathetic person, empathetic person. A lot of the SJW types, and I'm inferring this, right? I'm reading it from their actions. It seems that unfettered, unlimited compassion and sympathy is the only feasible way to make people happy or to do the right thing by people. Now, let me give you an example of what I mean. If a person's down on their luck and they're feeling sorry for themselves and they're having a rough go, I genuinely feel compassion for that person and sympathy. And a lot of times, I'd go help them. If they need help, I give them help. But if you're a drug addict and you don't want help, is unlimited compassion and sympathy going to help that person?
No.
And the thing is, like, I'm assuming somebody, maybe Grant, would have argued that and said, well, that's a border case. That's an outlier. That's an anomaly. I don't think it is.
When you come across the homeless community, there's some people that are there for some shit out of their control.
Sure.
Also, they've fallen into some certain patterns that got them to where they are.
Yeah.
But if you look and research and watch documentaries and where people have gone out, a lot of them don't want a job. They don't want to. They can make plenty of money to get by. They enjoy the freedom of sitting on a corner. Yep. Some of them are pulling in six figures.
Yeah, they're doing what they want.
And they do what they want when they want. They get high when they want. They don't have to answer to anybody. And that's just the lifestyle that they have chosen. There's no helping them, not because they're not worth it. Yeah. They just are happier that way.
Yeah, as a parent, it's also, I totally agree with that. As a parent, it's also a bit of a paradox because obviously beating the crap out of your kids, this nonstop, whether it's physical abuse, whether it's, verbal dressing down, the tough love mentality. Mm-hmm. I think you'll agree with me that, I mean, you're not a parent, but still, you're smart enough to figure this out. Like, I mean, compassion, like, being kind and caring and sympathetic to your children when they go through problems is one side. And then there's tough love that just kick the shit out of them whenever they do anything that steps out of line.
And that's how my parents were, and I thank them for it every day. I got the ass whoopings when I needed it, but also afterwards, like, why did you do this? Or why did this happen? Or how can we help you get out of this issue? Because while spanking or... I mean, that's all I got. I got spanked. I never got beat or anything whooped or nothing
Same
like
difference.
that.
Same difference. Maybe got smacked for a smart mouth a couple times.
I got backhanded a few times too. But at no time was I ever abused by any means. But there was still that compassion there too. I mean, and good parents know that they have to do it, but at the same time, you can tell it hurts them just as much to have to do it.
Yeah, I definitely do not like to have to raise my voice to my kids. Yeah. I don't like to. I mean, but dude, the kids hit an age where everything is about testing the boundaries, and sometimes it has to stop. Yeah, it just has to stop. And fortunately, my kids are old enough now where, well, my daughter's, she's 15, so she knows everything. So I mean, at a certain point, you just kind of say what you got to say. hope that something infiltrated the brain.
Well, and you got it worse too, because you've got the 15-year-old female teenagers, which females tend to just statistically tend to age quicker than men, so you've got that attitude a little younger.
They've got the part of social justice where they got that like righteous indignation like already dialed up.
Well, you've got it twice as bad though, because she's actually beyond intelligent.
Yeah, she's sharp.
And so now you got to deal with that part too, because she knows damn well what she's doing.
yeah, she's calculated like that. But I mean, she's a kid.
Well, yeah, we were all that age once, and we thought we were calculated too.
Yeah, until it's like, I did that shit too. You're not pulling one over on me.
No, as smart as you thought you were as a teenager, mom and dad knew.
You should see how much she tries to like out lecture me, like out debate me.
Has it worked yet?
She probably thinks so. My wife hates it. My wife wants you guys stop yelling. It's fine. I understand. Like she's at an age where.
Everything's the end of the world.
It is. Everything's very hyperbolic. But like it's weird. Okay, because if she's not in a heightened emotional state, she's not upset. The logic of it sinks in.
Well, all of
and
us
she's
are that
like,
way too.
I totally get it. But man, the minute
you even as an adult, I mean, because I know I do, so I know you do.
Oh yeah.
When you get ticked off, pissed off, mad at something, it's hard to remove the emotion.
Yeah.
And look at it like, all right, this really isn't that big.
Hard to dial it back, man.
Yeah. Once it's full throttle, it's stuck there.
Yeah. Well, so I do want to segue back. Is like, and it's what we were talking about. It's she lives in a world. I hate to use my daughter as the object of this point, but she lives in she's in a time in her developmental stages where emotionality really, really has a heavy influence on her worldview and influence on the things that happen in her house and in her school. And that's, to me, that's what is happening on, well, I mean, I shouldn't even say on the left necessarily. It's not just the left. I think it's progressives. Like progressives seem to be, because I mean, there are still liberals that kind of that think, okay, the majority of the messaging has gone a little bit further left than we're totally comfortable with, but we still like most of this.
Well, I mean, look at somebody like Bill Maher. The dude was way left, way left. He almost looks Republican now, but he has not changed his stance one
No,
bit.
I'm
preaching the same thing that he was 25 years ago.
I didn't want to. Notoriously, I didn't really care for Politically Incorrect or the Real Time show that's on right now. But he's had a couple guests over the years that were like, all right, if he's ever in if he's not in a situation where he's got a bunch of panelists that are Democrats or progressives or Democrats, which he usually does, and that's fine. And every once in a while he'll bring in conservatives, but man, his Club Random, like
his podcast,
anybody that wants to come talk. And what's amazing is he almost never gets aggressive pushback from anyone. And maybe that's he's a slick talker and a good.
He's very logical when it comes to most of his stances. Even the stuff that you don't agree with, he is able to tell you.
Yeah.
Which people are struggling with, where he's coming from and why.
Yeah.
It's not that gotcha moment, haha, and run away. It's, hey, this is why. This is what happened. These are the statistics behind it, and you can like it or you can't. It just is what it is.
If you want to debate it, we can debate it. If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. But there's I think it's a skill. This really is a lost art to be able to effectively communicate not only the what, but the why.
We don't have to anymore.
Well,
because you can get behind 90% of interactions now happen behind a keyboard.
Yeah.
And you throw out your opinion and you can delete, argue with, and walk away from anybody at any time, any moment. And you don't have to be right. You don't have to argue your point. You can just walk away.
Yeah, just like throw the grenade in, blow it up, and just like,
just watch the aftermath of it all.
Oh, yeah.
Watch everybody else argue over it.
There's a lot of sociologists and there's, social scientists who talk about the downside of social media being free for the most part. Mm-hmm. It's like the cost of being an asshole is zero. The cost of being a complete and utter vile, wretched person is zero. And the worst part is, guess what? It gets clicks. Mm-hmm. It gets clicks. I really feel like I on Facebook or Twitter, I feel like I could tag a couple people and say just nasty stuff. And depending on the algorithm, I don't know. I really feel like if all you need is one, two influencers to retweet it, and all of a sudden, bam, it's everywhere.
Well, and that's the thing too. Is like we hear that Twitter, with it now X, being this vile, awful place where just hate is spewed everywhere. 10% of Twitter users say that they think Twitter X is an awful place. Of that 10%. It was polled that 70% were far left progressives.
Oh, yeah. Well, and again, it's not controversial in my head, but I always think of discourse about something like politics, right? It's an idea. It's a free market of ideas, and this is why I believe in free speech. And obviously, we know we have exceptions. Yelling fire in movie theater. There's things that you can't do, and honestly, people should be able to understand. There should be a kind of a built-in understanding of why we don't do that. We don't create panic for no reason. We don't do that to people. We don't manipulate people's, emotions, livelihood. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but I think people get it when we say it. But I still believe, and if it doesn't work, I'll tie this up at the end when I say if it doesn't work. Good ideas, which there aren't many of in terms of like new ideas. There's millions of new ideas every day. Very few of them are worth a shit. Like very few of them are worth a shit. It's like scientific thoughts. People are asking scientific questions all day, every day, and most of them are shit. Most of them are wrong. Most of them are never going to get proved out. Mm-hmm. But the free market, the mass itself of people, if it's a good one, they pick it up and it gets adopted. But the problem is, and this is just my opinion, because I still am on X, and I do find there is some cesspool-esque material coming from both right and left. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I think I've gamed the algorithm enough that I seriously have far left, far right. Probably not even far left. I have left, right, and center, all seemingly equally represented in my feed at all times. And I see some shit that's stupid from the right. I see a lot of shit that's stupid from the left. And the problem with it is, if the bad ideas and misinformation are proliferating, I don't know if I want to blame it on the medium. I blame it on people being dumb and not critical and not. I tell my wife all the time, and she hates it because she doesn't like logic. She doesn't like this, but like I really think that people need to learn logic, like inference.
Well,
I mean, things like the non-contradictive clause, which means if you're green, you can't be not green. Mm-hmm. But people don't understand that.
Well, I mean, is this where our education system is just failing at a massive level and causing this? This is really hard for me because I spent 5 years getting an undergraduate degree and I spent 3 years getting a graduate degree. I went to state school, so it's not a big liberal arts private school. And I really felt like when I was on campus both times, and heck, I taught afterwards, and I thought when I was teaching that I never thought that there was any particular political view or viewpoint that was stifled or held up above anyone else. Now, that may have just been because I was in the business school, and I never took a social science class past 1998, which is way before everything started to kind of get weird. But it wasn't. You know what, the big thing when I was in around 2005. 2000 to 2010, the big thing wasn't politics in college. It was God's not real. That was like the main thing that every professor felt the need to tell you.
Yeah, I would like to talk about that sometimes with them.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a good student when it comes to that topic.
So I mean, it's not one of those. It was never. I mean, you could tell they were more progressive and stuff, but it wasn't like thrown in your face or you had to do, some of the rules that colleges come up with now are just insane. Like classes are giving trigger warnings if the color red is to be shown because it represents anger and aggression and may cause a microaggression among students.
You're about to cue up my postmodernism rant. For anybody that doesn't know what postmodernism is, I'll give you. It's really a 30,000-foot level view of a really simple oversimplification. Probably I won't get into Foucault and Derrida and the things they said really, but postmodernism started in the 50s and 60s in France with French academics, and the first place they applied these ideas was in French literature. And the gist of it, the gist is a philosophical word, was that if I were to read, Randy, say you're an author, okay, and you wrote this book, and every story has some foreshadowing, some symbolism, they all have this, but to say that they're all literal or all metaphoric, that's probably not true. So you read a story, and I read a story. I read your book. You wrote the book. Okay. You could walk out and you could say, this is what this book was about. This was informed by my experience doing this, and this is what I meant. Now, with all art, it's all subject to interpretation, right? But the first postmodernists, their point was there is an infinite amount of interpretation of anything cultural. Okay, so we're starting with books. So like you think Harry Potter is about the hero's journey. I don't think it's about the hero's journey.
No, I don't think. I mean, I get what you're saying. I don't think that it applies to the work. I think it applies to the people, because each person will interpret. I mean, look at it with songs. Everybody interprets songs, literature, everything a different way. Literature, not so much, because usually it's a drawn out story.
Yeah.
Song is usually chops and tidbits
Sure. One lyrics
attached-
and verses and
yeah.
again
attached to a chorus, and then
You-
but each person definitely interprets things a little different. I mean, look at the Bible.
Well, but so the point is like the postmodernists. So you're the author of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you could say, look, you all can read it how you want. This is what I meant it to mean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So from an outside perspective, I would say the creator of any work, though I may not agree, if there's a canonical interpretation of that work, it's probably going to come from the person that created it.
100%.
There was reasoning behind it, right?
There's no questioning it. I mean, how do you
Postmodernists
question that?
The postmodernists say that because there are so many different interpretations of a specific work, there is no canonical interpretation. There is no right one. Okay? Now in the scope of just French literature, fine. Not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But in the 60s and 70s, some of the more well-known purveyors of the postmodern philosophy also were big believers in, at first it was Hegel, but then they read Marx and Engels, and it became this kind of mesh of the there's no canonical interpretation of this, of the world we live in, as opposed to
Literature.
literature or music or poetry or movies or whatever.
Okay.
And so they crossed this little bit of Marxism into it. And that was when you began to see the academic push towards this idea that all there is in the world is two things. There's people that have power and people that don't have power.
The haves and the have-nots.
The bourgeoisie, the proletariat.
Mm-hmm.
The farmers like the kulaks, and in Russia it was like the kulaks and the KVND or NVKD, whatever it's people that end up being the KGB.
Yeah.
It was basically the socialists, the people under Stalin, and then it was the farmers, and it warped. I'm telling you, it's that become like beginning every idea with the idea that everything is about power.
Mm-hmm.
Is that's what's happened in the universities. I don't care. Like, I mean, you can say that that's a conservative thing. No, it's not. When you tell people that, and this is what you were just talking about with what, you go onto a college campus and you have to affirm everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. And to me, look, college campus, free, liberal institution. We're supposed to be exposed to opposing ideas and viewpoints when we're there. Mm-hmm. We're supposed to be. That's how you become a more well-rounded person. I mean, if you're a Christian and you're a hardcore Christian and you're so hardcore that you don't want to know anything about any other religion at all ever, even from a knowledge perspective. I'm not talking about you don't have to follow it, but I mean, if I learn about something, I tend to want to learn about the things that are parallel to it and similar to it, as opposed to just going, that's interesting and all, but I'm really into just this.
Yeah, that's like I have no desire to worship Egyptian gods or the Anunnaki or anything like that, but
cool stories.
I'm well versed in it.
Cool
I mean, I
stories.
can tell you about it because I wanted to learn about it because it enlightened me to certain
Oh man,
aspects.
I've got another one for you about that. Do you want to talk about it real quick?
Sure,
I
go ahead.
I just want to ask because I've been I read a lot of Joseph Campbell, and he's
I have not read anything of his.
academic. He's an intellectual. He's not political. He's not religious, but what his main study is the study of myth.
Okay.
The study of mythology, the form of mythology, the archetypes of mythology, the phenomenology of myth and story. And he just has this way of I mean, if you read his books, the point of most of his books, most of his lectures, academic stuff, is look at these stories from all these cultures. I mean, I love his definition. What's mythology? What's mythology?
Mythology is the study of myths and creatures.
It's someone else's religion.
Yeah.
Because we study Greek and Roman mythology.
Yeah.
They're not our gods. They were their gods.
Yeah.
They were their religion.
It was there. Yeah.
And
you're absolutely right.
And what I noticed, and if you read, this is like, again, if you read anything by Campbell, Man with a Thousand Faces, this is probably his most known work, but his point was that every in most major world religions, and I hesitate to say all because I don't like absolutes, but almost all world religions have similar elements in their creation myths.
Yes.
And even in their early mythology.
Yes,
there's
they do.
story archetypes that pop up everywhere.
Absolutely.
So, and I always I get into this conversation with religious people all the time because to them Christianity and God, that's like the bottom. You've reached the bottom. There's no further down. But here's my question. And you can use it with Abrahamic religions only, or you can use it with every world religion. Since all of them seem to be inheriting from the same stories, doesn't that mean there's something beyond it?
I mean,
If Christianity, Islam, and
there's one
Judaism all come from the same thing.
I have questioned that, and I've thought about it. There's one of two things. And I'm just going to make it as simple as possible. It is or it isn't. Because it either is, because you have the same ties back to the same stories, the same creation, the same, or you have this strange human need to know why we exist, which I think both are true. I can't tell you which one's right.
Yeah.
But they can both be right.
I kind of always claim agnosticism. It's like, I really don't know.
Yeah.
Be interesting to know, but I don't know.
Yeah, and nobody does know. I mean, that's where it comes down to, you can argue with someone. Well, I know because I have faith.
Well, L. Ron Hubbard knew. He said he knew.
Well,
he was hip.
That's a whole different story.
Joseph Smith said he knew too. I mean, who doesn't believe a 15-year-old that comes out of the hills with tablets going, I am
going to see the Book of Mormon in September.
It'll be fun, entertaining.
Right?
Sorry, that was like a phenomenology
No,
of myth, like interjection.
But at the same time, it's like, is there a creation that happened, or is there a need to have that creation to wrap up everything that we cannot understand or fully grasp as creation?
To me, that's an enlightenment. It's an enlightenment development. Once we figured out, the beginning of the scientific method, we started to figure out, oh my gosh, we can ask questions and figure these things out of the physical world. I always thought that, and I could lead this track. I'm reading Nietzsche. Right now. It's a slog. They're tough, but they're interesting. And, he always said, God's dead. We killed him. And I think what it is before the Enlightenment, when Galileo, Copernicus, when these people were getting killed for their scientific beliefs that ended up being true.
Yeah.
We lived in a world
Isn't
where...
that fucked up? Yeah. Holy shit. We
killed
killed him.
He was right, I think. But it's this thing where when this one dogmatic viewpoint dictates, the views and the beliefs of an entire civilization, Holy Roman Empire, the minute you throw one wrench in the middle of the gears, that's not good. That's not good. Like, you're breaking the order. And so what I think Nietzsche meant was the technological age, industrial revolution. People didn't need God anymore as a crutch. They don't need it because that was the center of life before the Enlightenment. And nobody questioned because honestly, there was no way to empirically disprove it. How can you disprove it? I mean, this is also, we thought Duncan fucking witches would, witches, what was it? Witches sink? No, witches float. Innocent people sink, but they die.
Innocent people, yeah. Innocent people, if they sunk to the bottom and died, well, looks like they weren't a witch. But if they float and live,
we're gonna kill them.
And then you burn them.
What's this? Literally, this rounds back to the social justice warrior thing that you were talking about on campuses with safe spaces and microaggressions, which is that the point being that a marginalized group. Yeah. So I just brought up that this whole the postmodernism, the all this ties in with what you were saying, social justice warriors on college campuses, because I can go in good faith, walk into a classroom and say something that I find to be benign. Nothing. It's nothing offensive. I'm literally the grass over there is green. And what did a postmodernist say? I don't think that's green. I don't care if you think it's green. That just because you think it's green doesn't mean that it's green. Do you see what I'm getting at? Like,
yeah.
That's what. So as it infects,
it almost gives people a reason just to be assholes.
Well, it spreads out and infects, okay? And the part is, and this is one thing, again, this is what I struggle with when I hear people talk, okay? Because I want to have compassion for people that feel like they're being treated like shit, okay? But at a certain point, this whole idea that I heard you, what you said, verbatim, in their head. They're telling themselves a story. And it's not just your words.
Yeah.
It's your words, it's your motivation, it's your full intent. Okay? That's fine. I don't have a problem really with that because we all do that every day. Okay, verbal communication, written, it's all the same.
Yes.
What does that fucking guy mean when he said that?
Yeah.
Okay? Fine. But here's the problem. If you come back and you say, fuck you, that grass isn't green, okay, all right, fine. My intention was not to offend you. It was to merely make an objective observation. I don't care.
Well, here's where you have a problem, and it stems from universities and stuff, is that Gen Zers, 71% of them feel that your intent does not matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
It happened when they started bringing in the microaggressions. So just because you said it was green and they felt it was a off shade of green, well, now you contradicted what they thought, which is now a microaggression, and it doesn't matter what you meant, even if you were right. It doesn't matter your intent.
He must hate that off shade of green that I love.
If you offend someone, that's all that matters, and you are the problem.
You are, yeah.
And that's where we have this issue. If 71% feels that intent does not matter, if you offend somebody and they say they're offended, you're the culprit, you are the problem. Yeah. That's not how society works.
It hurts. And the idea of building community through shared understanding, building community through shared experience, I think instead, if we would pay more attention to people and meet them where they're at, and that has to be asynchronous. It has to be synchronous, dude. It has to be going at the same time. It can't just be I'm listening to you, I'm giving you good faith while you do I do the opposite to you.
Well, good faith doesn't exist anymore. I know you're big on good faith, but it really doesn't.
I get it. Well, in politics, it certainly doesn't. I think in anything where there's two sides of belief, it's anything tribal, there's doesn't.
Exactly. Then that's where I'm getting that tribal, that echo chamber. There's no good faith anymore.
Has the rise in tribalism, is that the cause of the rise in this SJW mentality?
I think so, but I also see a lot of people coming back to reality.
Okay.
Like I said earlier about the 71%, but 40% of college students, they claim that violence is acceptable to shut down somebody that they don't believe in.
Yeah.
So I think that these younger people are coming to the age of the fuck around and find out. People are starting to, get fed up with it. I'm not going to talk much about this because it's not my thing. It's not I don't have the issue, but I've noticed the black community has a new phrase. It's called black fatigue. They are tired of their same demographic causing problems.
Yep.
And now you have the younger kids, they're causing problems. They're getting thrown in jail and they're finding out, well, my intent was good. I meant to shut them down. Violence needs to be met with violence. Well, that person said that they didn't like girls and boys sports and you tried to kill them.
Yeah.
That is not the same. Words don't hurt the way that they can hurt your feelings.
Yeah, sure, of course.
But that hurt feelings do not equate to violence as an action.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of these younger people are finding out that, holy shit, I've been lied to. They said I could do this and hurt people, and it's okay because it's for a good cause. Yeah. And after a few years in jail, well, fuck, my life's fucked now.
Well, you remember what we chatted about the other day is like, and I think we've talked about it before, is like, a lot of these kids have never been punched in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And, if your whole life has been a series of opportunities that were laid out in front of you on a silver platter, and here, I mean, as a parent, I struggle because there's a parallel there. There's always stages where It seems like it's maybe from like 5 to 8, 5 to 9,
Mm-hmm.
with toddlers, it's just part of the experience. But there comes a point where it's just hearing no freaks them out,
Mm-hmm.
freaks them out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. As a parent, I've kind of fallen to this. I've kind of fallen to a philosophy where I think that the best thing I can teach my kids, and it takes a long time, and you have to teach it by example, is that it's this thing about like instant gratification versus long-term sacrifice, discipline and willpower. You know what I mean?
And I've thought about that a lot. I don't have kids, but I thought if I did have kids, how could I instill to them that, chores are important because work's important, because you're going to have to do it no matter what.
Yep.
Even the rich have to work, and usually the rich work a whole lot more than us middle class.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that.
No, they don't want to understand it. I don't think most want to understand it.
True. So how do I instill, one, a good, work ethic?
Yeah.
Two, implement the importance of money and how fast it comes and how much faster it goes.
Oh, shit.
And these are things that and that no is okay, because you're going to get told no a lot in your life. Mm-hmm. And these were things that I struggled with as a child, looking back, thinking of my childhood. I couldn't grasp them as a concept until I was an adult and had to deal with them.
Yeah.
And it's true, but how do you instill that in a child, that you're trying to teach them something that's not... Well, here's a perfect example. I think we have a lot of these issues because they have these social justice warriors. If you look, a lot of them, self-admitted, are depressed, unhappy. Multiples of them have purple hair,
Sure.
face tattoos,
A kind of identity crisis, right?
piercing, and identity crisis, which has kept them from holding real life corporate jobs.
Yeah, definitely.
So they really don't have many consequences in their life. They get by. It may be being a college student. It may be living off of mom and dad. It may be being a barista working 20 hours a week that they feel is way too much and overwhelming. And everything gives them anxiety. And I'm not making this up. This is all self-admitted by especially the Gen Z demographic. So when you have all of that and have never had real responsibilities, you can revert back to that temper tantrum when you get told no, or somebody does something you don't like, or something goes against what your thought is.
See, but again, this is where I'll tie this. This is where I tie it, and it's high level philosophy, but it absolutely fits. I don't care. Anybody can debate me on this. This is where postmodernism gets you. Sometimes a brick is just a fucking brick. Okay? It's not offensive because it's red. It's not imperfect because it has, fissures in the surface. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's a fucking brick. Okay? Get over it, move on. Seriously. Get over it, move on. If you extrapolate that out to kids that cannot get over not being able to do something, not feeling like they're respected, not feeling like they belong, not feeling like they have an identity of their own, not feeling like they're a member of some in-group that can give them cachet in an intersectionality sense. Dude, sometimes, this is that element of this weird, we talked about tough love versus compassionate and love and logic parenting. It just goes to show you what happens when you take the tough love completely out. And I don't advocate for beating the shit out of your kids or spank. I don't even advocate hitting kids, spanking them. I really don't. The older I get, I don't. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell you this, being nice to everybody all the time, no matter what they do to you, and that being the standard of your, I always have to be nice to you, whatever I do. Okay. No matter what you tell me, you feel, or you think, I always have to agree with you. Mm-hmm. What are we doing? How are we, you said you'll hear no a lot. How are we equipping the last 3 generations to deal with a cold, hard, mean world?
Well, and that's the problem too, is that SJWs expect you to be nice to them, understand where they're coming from, have that compassion, but when they yell at you, when they accost you, when they try to attack you, that's acceptable.
Yeah.
But you disagreeing with them,
yeah, that's bad.
That's bad.
Anathema, man.
You cannot do that.
Bad news.
So, how do you even combat something like that?
Honestly, I hope it just blows over.
Well, I mean,
And it won't, but
well, we'll get this. So the funny thing is that a statistic I saw was that the average SJW related viral moment online, it literally lasts no more than 48 hours on average, and zero change ever comes from it.
I didn't even know the time, but I'd be like, man, very little is going to come of that.
Yeah.
Well, we're like a bright shiny object / society anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that catches our attention. But hey, this is what social media does to you, right? I mean, it's such a blur every day.
Yeah.
It's a fire hose, man.
It
It's
is.
always what I talk about, gifted kids versus normal kids. Normal kids see the world as like this light stream of water that they can drink out of, and it's fine. They don't make a mess. The intelligent, open, emotionally open. I hate to say intelligent. I don't think it's that. It's like aware and more perceptive of the world.
Critical thinkers.
It's a fucking fire hose, dude.
Mm-hmm.
The world is a fire hose blowing on you at all sides at all times. And man, like I always, it's the analogy is the fire hose. And it's like, sometimes you want to know why intelligent people have like depression problems, emotional stability issues, because man, it's like, and it's getting worse because now it used to be at the radio, the radio, the newspapers, and the news.
Yeah.
Now it's like you can't pick up your phone without an algorithmic methodology, and it'd be different if I thought it was always feeding things that you enjoyed. Do we really? Well, I mean, on that note, we can close it out. I was like, is the algorithmic notion that we should be fed what we like, or is it that the algorithm wants to piss us off, or is the algorithm trained us to like being pissed off?
I think it's a little bit of everything, because all of the above. If you see, all right, my theory is if you see a broad spectrum of material, you're going to get bored with it fast, because it bounces around a whole bunch.
Yeah.
You see something you like, you see something you don't like, you see something you don't need, then you see 3 things in a row that you don't like, and then 2 things that you don't need, then you're like, fuck this, I'm done scrolling. But you see something you like, you get happy, and then as you scroll, it's tailored to you.
And then what's funny is those things that you don't like,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of go through there and you don't pay as much attention to them anymore.
Nope.
Because you're
looking for the next
whereas
one.
before you were like, I'll just get off. Now it's like, we'll still slip those in there. A little social engineering for you. It's frightening. Again, I read way too many books about this, the sociology of screens, and as a parent, it's scary. My daughter has a phone now too, which is even more scary.
Oh man. So do you think that social justice warriors are doing more harm than good by their actions and activism?
Look, I think that being passionate about something and being compassionate about a cause is always a good thing. There's
agree.
nothing wrong with this, and there's nothing wrong with being outspoken about it. However, I do think that resorting, in my opinion, if you have to resort to violence to follow through with your idea, it wasn't that good of an idea to begin with. Well, or it wasn't let's talk about like a viral meme type phenomenon.
No,
it wasn't viral.
Well, let's put it this way. If people were literally being rounded up in the streets and executed like they are in some countries,
yeah,
then there is a absolute 100% need for it.
Yeah.
To save lives.
Well, to bring attention to bullshit and injustice, absolutely. I have no problem with that.
Yes. And I don't either. But to attack a comedian because he says he doesn't use pronouns.
Here's the trick, though. You've come right back to the postmodern thing. It doesn't matter what that comedian wants you to feel or think or understand. What matters is the fluid, dynamic, always dynamic opinions of the people digesting the material. So your intent means jack shit. Your joke about the old guy, the super old guy that made a joke about paying off his student loans, that offends me because I have student loans. Seriously, fucking get a joke is a joke.
Yeah.
Like I as a kid, I was a super sensitive kid. I was chubby. I got bullied. I got made fun of. But I will tell you one thing it did. It made me thick-skinned, man.
Yeah.
And it takes way more than mocking one small element of who I am or what I represent or what my family represents or what my friends represent. It takes so much more than that to make me angry.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't, I mean, this is this snowplow parenting, like just move all the obstacles out so nobody knows what happens when you just see a big roadblock or a big fat fucking no.
Yeah. Well, and I think another problem too is that you and I, you were in a fraternity.
Yep.
Growing up, I went through a large spectrum of friends. I went from that chubby kid, then an athlete.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, being an athlete and being popular, you still get picked on just as much as that chubby kid. Just it doesn't change, like the hazing, the getting made fun of.
Yeah.
It may change a little bit, but it's still there.
Yeah.
So
Lord of the Flies, man. It's not that way anymore. It really isn't. I mean, it is, but like I watched my daughter deal with stuff in junior high and high school, and I see my son in elementary school, and it gives me hope because genuinely, most of the kids seem
more
nice to each other. They're nice to each other. Because my son's he's not a jock. I mean, he's a soccer player, but he's not a big like jock. He doesn't want to faux hawk. He's just a kid. He wants to run and he wants to yell and he likes dinosaurs and trucks and shit. He was what every boy.
Yeah.
When I was in school, that certainly there would be groups of kids that would take you and kind of beat the shit out of you on the playground if you said the wrong thing or if you liked the wrong person or if you said the wrong thing about any of their buddies.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be there. I'm assuming it's a product of a couple different things. One being parents like, look.
Well, I mean, we really have pushed the digression of masculinity.
Yeah. Well, it's not worth as much anymore.
No,
not
it's not. You don't have the
I shouldn't say I think it's not as important, but that's certainly the idea in society that the traditional masculinity is considered toxic.
I think having masculine roles are important because the buildings still have to get built. Yeah. The roads still have to get made.
God dang it,
the pipelines have to be built. And it takes a tough mentality to go do that every day.
It's like it's logical thinking, man.
I know. God. Any final thoughts on social justice warriors, Brian?
You'll grow out of that shit someday.
You don't, I promise.
I don't think final thought, everything I say, I really say with feeling and compassion.
Yeah.
Any of the people that I've ever sparred with, I want to qualify this, but because if I spar with you about something like that, it means that I respect you and I respect your opinions. But as long as I respect your opinions, part of